Officer from the IPC, and I wanted to provide a couple slides, just giving you a brief overview of what's to come this week in terms of our program, and then I'll hand it off to Abby, who will talk about the communications aspect, and introduce to you again a new member of our team who will be taking over a lot of our responsibilities. We'll get to that slide in a moment. It's kind of fun to be up here again. It's been 3 years now. This is actually fourth GA, I guess, Singapore, The Hague, DC, and now here in Ghana. It's been a lot of fun. Over the course of the last 3 years, I wanted to highlight some of the changes that we had within the IPC when I joined the program. When I came in 2010, a lot of the focus previously in the IPC had been on technical capabilities and technical projects, improving the Heritrix crawler, working on other technical aspects, a lot of code. People worried about, oh, can I run this in my organization? How can this, can you feature, that sort of thing. And over the course of the past few years, we've broadened our program tremendously. So it's not just specifically technical projects anymore. 2011 was the first year where we had quite a broadening of our program, where we had an education committee that focused on a number of aspects of broadening the educational aspect of the IPC, including a PhD sponsorship, which we'll hear more about this week, which I'm very excited about. We also focused on outreach and some other aspects. So it wasn't just about the code anymore. We recognized that the IPC was a lot more than just the tools that we're using, it's outreach, it's education, it's collaboration. And in 2012, I think the collaboration was a key aspect of the way our program developed. And you'll hear about some of the projects this coming week, in particular Twitter Dane and a few others, where I think a key aspect of the way these projects are developing is through the collaboration of our membership. Whereas in the past, what usually happened was a single institution would say, build a prototype tool, say this works well for us, but we need some money to make it a production tool, and we'll try to get some money from the IPC to do that, but then we'll just build it and we'll put it out there and hope it's useful to people. And I think a change that we made recently, which I think is going to be for the benefit of the IPC, is to inject some collaboration into that process. So where an institution might still build a prototype because it meets their immediate needs, we're now moving towards a phase where there's direct participation among the members to help figure out, does that tool meet other people's needs, other institutions' needs, and how can we help develop it through collaboration in a more iterative process before saying, okay, here's 50,000 euros and gosh, I hope it really works. So I think it's a positive step for the IPC as well. One other thing we're doing a little bit different this year for people that have been to previous GAs is we often spent a lot of time in the morning walking through a lot of slide decks where we had a lot of sort of lectures where people presented in a one sort of direction fashion about the status of their project. And so this year what we decided to do is break it up into these mini workshops. But the idea is to focus on questions and answers, interactivity, and a more dynamic sort of presentation. So rather than having someone just read their slide deck to you, you can sit at the table with them, ask them questions. There'll be demonstrations of the tools that are being worked on. People can poke at them and ask questions and things like that. So we hope it'll be a much more productive use of our time when we're all together talking about these things and asking interesting questions. And you'll find on the program that these are going to be happening throughout the week. A lot, I believe, tomorrow, and then some on Friday as well. And my last slide, I would like to give some thanks to a lot of people. It's been a lot of fun for me in this role the past few years, and I'd like to emphasize that the theme that you'll hear oftentimes throughout the week for the IPC is not just a body of institutions, it's also people. And what's important about the IPC is not just the work that we're doing and the tools that we use, but the relationships that we have with each other in this room. But when I first came in, I met a lot of colleagues, and now I see a lot of friends and people that I work with a lot over the years. So I just want to say a few thanks to Adam Potter, my sort of co-officer for the past few years, and Timon as well, as treasurer. I want to say thank you to Jill Haas, who was more or less my predecessor in this role and a good source of advice and answers to my questions. And I wanted to highlight a thank you to all the steering committee chairs that we've had over the past few years, Sean Martin, Mark Anderson, and now Kathy Hartman, who have been great with support and contribution to the development of the program And last, I'd like to thank my boss at IA, Chris Carpenter, who's helped support me a lot at IA to give me the time and the bandwidth to contribute to the IPC on top of all my other sort of normal duties of my day job, that I'm sure a lot of people can sympathize with. So but that's it for me for program for this year, and there's a lot of exciting stuff to come this week. And I will now turn it over to Abby to talk about communications.